Hi, I'm Jesse Grant, and I am a pre-testosterone, otherwise known as pre-T FTM, which means female to male transgendered individual.
I went to school with him when he was a she, and when she was gay, and when she came out as gay.
I never realized that pronouns as far as it relates to transgender people was as big of an issue as it is until I met Jesse.
The preferred pronouns would be he, him, but I guess when it comes down to it, it's very hard for people to understand.
I have issues sometimes with pronouns. I have to say that, but I mean, sometimes I still mess up. I'll say she instead of he, and I'll be like, wait, no.
I don't agree with people referring to trans as anything other than the trans would want to be referred to as. If a trans man wants to be called a man, you should respect that. You should try your hardest to call them a man. I do understand occasionally it slips. It's happened to me before. I feel bad about it, but the only thing you can really do is try your best to not do it again.
It's just a shocker, actually. Most people don't really, aren't aware, and they don't really, I don't know, it took me a while to get used to it, honestly, too. So I can assume from, other people's perspectives how, it's taken them a while to, switch to it, to transition to saying he, but I just known him for so long, so I just came about it real quick.
Hang out with him, it's like hanging out with another guy. I don't see any difference at all.
Even though, I knew him when he was a she, and knew him for years when he was a she, it wasn't hard for me to make that adjustment, to make that click, to call him a he.
I know a couple transgendered people, and they have the pronouns they want to be called and who they see, who they are. And, I'm going to respect that, that's who they are, so.
There's a lot of trans people in Connecticut, whether you know it or not. It could be your doctor, it could be your teacher, it could be someone who does your taxes for you.
I never realized how often it is that they get confused for the wrong gender and how much of an issue it is to them and how it impacts them. Since I met Jesse, I've been working on trying to get better about it because I realized that it is an issue and it's still very prevalent in today's society.
I don't know, I think if you don't know him that well, you're always going to make the mistake, but the more you get to know Jess, the more it's gonna be normal to you, because we all know Jess, so it's it's simple for us. But if you're not around it, it's the only way to get used to it is just be around it more, get to know Jess and get to know who he is now, and get to know the different person.
When a female transitions into a male, they have to go through a therapist for endless amounts of months, whether years, depending on the therapist they choose, before they start the process of taking testosterone, which changes several different things. Their voice, their body structure, their facial features, more hair is involved.
I think it's difficult to say that someone can just fix the problem of mispronouncing someone's gender. I think it's just something that has to be practiced. Someone just has to get over it. Someone has to get used to it. And if you can't bring yourself to be mature enough to respect that person's wishes, you should remove yourself. You should honestly just remove yourself from the situation. You can't be respectful. You obviously shouldn't be around that person. Not for your benefit, but for theirs.
I mean, it was kind of an issue I was unaware of until I met Jesse. I mean, and granted, I met him when he was a her, but when he was still just starting to transition.
I mean, most people aren't aware of it. Most people don't.
See it as an issue.
Yeah, it's it just, you know, it always comes as a surprise every time. So
I mean, it's kind of something that comes with the territory. I mean, it's something you learn once you really start to get to know more people who are transgender, and like once you become friends with them.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like once you actually become friends with the person, that's the only way you're gonna get used to it.
Yeah.
It's the only way you're gonna get used to, you know, getting used to it in general. Because the more you get to know the person, you know, it becomes normal. So that when you do meet another person that's, you know, in the same situation, then, you know, it's just normal to you.
I mean, it's
You
kind of like calling somebody by the wrong name.
I think people should call him a he because that's what he is. If that's what makes him happy, that's what people should go by.
I think that they should be them, and you shouldn't have to stereotype them as what you see them as, but rather what they feel inside and what you feel like they are and what they are to you.
Most of the time people get confused, and if you're not friends with them or it's not someone who's completely understanding, it can be very hard. I grew up in a very closed-minded Christian home. My father's a minister under the Assemblies of God, and coming out as a lesbian was pretty hard. Then how many years later coming out as a transgender person was even harder. I'm very thankful for the friends and family members who actually respect it and understand it. If you're watching this and you are transgendered, you're not alone. There's people, groups who can help you. Don't be afraid to be who you are. A famous quote from E.E. Cummings is, "The greatest amount of courage is becoming who you truly are." So whatever you are, be a good one. That's it.